morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Alright, let's check out our cosmic weather today, see what kind of energy we're dealing with. Spaceweather.com is our first stop. Solar wind, 317.8 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is quiet. We're at a 1. Coronal holes, we don't really see much of anything. And then, of course, our geomagnetic storm activity, not much there. And our solar flare possibility, it's down as well. Okay. And the storm is subsiding that we had. So, that's what's going on with the solar wind. Now, why is it important that we look at the solar wind as part of our cosmic weather? Because it is weather that is coming our way from the cosmos. Wind coming from the cosmos. You remember the story of the Fantastic Four? Cosmic wind came through and they all changed. Well, that might not be too far from the truth of what's really taking place. As these cosmic energies are blowing through, our DNA could certainly be affected by all of this in ways beyond our ability to understand at this point in time, but that's part of the process of change that we are going through. So it's important that we look to see what's going on with the cosmos, and when we're getting hit by the wind, it's important that we know, because it's an extra dose of energy coming our way. Now, astrologically, same sun sign, Libra, so we're dealing with the same element and energy, which is air. Communication, to be more specific, and balance. It's a tarot card of justice, so it's all about karmic balance, balancing out the energies in one life. What we do comes back to us, so we learn to do things that will bring good things back to us as opposed to bad things. So that's what we're dealing with on the conscious mind, where underneath, unconscious, we're still within a sign here. We're in the sign of Taurus, just like yesterday. Taurus is an earth sign. In the tarot cards, Taurus is the Hierophant, the inner teacher. Taurus is about listening to the inner teacher so that you could take that inner wisdom and bring it out and make it practical. So you've got the inner teacher looking to find a way to make things practical on the subconscious, where on the conscious you've got the way in which we're trying to communicate and balance out our energies, balance out the past use of our energies, and see if we can get everything back to like a good fresh starting point. So that's what we're dealing with: air and earth, air and earth. Okay, we go to the moon phase here, 89% full, making our way back down. This was the autumn harvest moon. And on the Mayan Oracle, we're at 11-tone day. Right here is the 11th position on the wave spell of the mirror. The 11th position, or 11th tone, is called the spectral tone. Whenever we have the 11s, our kin and our guide are the same for the day. So in this case, both of them are the stars. So today would be an 11 star guided by the star. Or specifically, because 11 is called the spectral tone, today is called the spectral star guided by the star. And then the supporting cast members around it, you have the mirror, the monkey, and the Skywalker. Okay, our phrase for today is: I dissolve in order to beautify, releasing art. I seal the store of elegance with the spectral tone of liberation. I am guided by my own power doubled. The idea of I dissolve comes from the 11. Think about taking some sugar and dissolving sugar into water. The water becomes sweeter, right? Remember in Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi said to Darth Vader, if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than I ever was before. because he dissolved his essence into the universe, and then throughout the course of the rest of the series, we saw that he was much larger. He was now part of the universe because he had dissolved into it. So that's the idea of dissolving, going from one form, becoming even bigger because we dissolved into what is out there. And we can look and see here where we are on the Zolkin. We're right in that middle pillar. And remember, I told you in the middle pillar, it's that magical place where everything revolves around it. So during this time period that we're in, if it feels like we're in the middle of some magical voided out area, we are. Right? And on the Gregorian calendar, today is the 3rd day of October 2012. So there you have it. That's our cosmic weather for today. So you know what you're dealing with now. Why is it important? Again, because everything is energy. Everything is energy. So if everything is energy, then we need to know how to use this energy properly. And during the time that we're in, energy is the name of the game. The 2012 shift is all about energy affecting us, changing us, and moving us forward. But not just energy on a physical level, energy on much deeper levels. Subtle levels of the different bodies. We have the emotional body, the physical body. We have the more subtle bodies. When we do the meditations, we get the 7 chakras, which we're dealing with 7 energy levels of the body. So there's a lot that's going on underneath. With all of this, as the human body, the earthling down here, is being tuned up, there are more opportunities for things like synchronicities to take place. And we're going to see more of these as we are approaching our date of 2012, December 21st. Now remember, this is not the beginning date of a cycle. This is the ending of a cycle. So since that's the ending date, if we think of it like a race, what happens prior to the ending? The race is still being run, right? So we're still in that race. There are 79 days left to go until December 21st, 2012. 79 days of opportunity for change. Some of it you'll be aware of, some of it you won't. Some of it paying attention to, you'll be able to assist the process, others not so much. The key is just to be aware of the change that is all around us. Now, this first piece I'm going to play for you is in line with that idea of synchronicity, of being tuned in. And it is a piece sent by one of our viewers. It is called Introducing the Bandwidth Oracle. And this is about the synchronicity of which I am referring. So watch this, see what kind of seeds it plants in your mind about the process that's taking place and what's going on, because our minds are very powerful, and this is a really good example of that. So here we go.
You're cheating hard. Don't. Super freak. She's super freak.
Is your radio broken?
No, my concentration is.
Projecting thought and belief. Bristol notes that all the great electrical scientists, Edison, Steinmetz, Tesla, Marconi, were interested in telepathy. It wasn't ridiculous to them that thoughts could move through the air, that thoughts alone could affect events if, like a good radio signal, they were strong and clear. Bristol borrows from New Thought principles to suggest that there is intelligence in everything that exists in the universe, and that we're all linked by a kind of universal mind. Jung had a similar idea with his collective unconscious. The force of your belief represents a transmitter to the universe that enters the minds of other people and even inanimate objects. The more powerful your broadcast, the more likely that the world will pick it up and react accordingly. It wasn't impossible, said astronomer Sir Arthur Eddington, that the physical laws of the universe could be made subject to human thought, and modern quantum physics doesn't rule it out either. Bristol's explanation is that a person with a strong belief will exist at a certain vibration that seeks its like in the form of matter. Thus he reaches the startling conclusion that we don't achieve deeply felt goals by action alone, but are helped along depending on the quality and intensity of our belief that they will be achieved.
We're tapping into the non-local domain, that part of us which is outside of space-time and which is everywhere. I mean, it's think of it as the cosmic internet, in a sense. You know, when you talk to somebody else via computer, you have a Macintosh and they have a PC. Well, that computers don't speak directly to themselves. What happens is that you send out a message which is broken into thousands of tiny little packets and sent out all over the place in every which direction, and which come together sort of, for most of us, magically at the other end, and the PC computer can read them. Well, I mean, this isn't a perfect analogy, and I don't want to get stuck with it, but in a very real sense, it's very much like the internet. We are all workstations on this cosmic internet. Some of our computers are more powerful than others. Some of them are handled with greater facility than others. But we are all part of the net. What you've got is we are all interconnected and interdependent. And how do fads start? How do things go viral?
Same thing. Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, what we're getting as we get increasingly electronically hooked in is that it becomes easier and easier to see this kind of mass consciousness expression occur.
Can you talk?
XM satellite radio. Digital cable for you.
Broadcasting system.
So you talk through the radio?
Actually, you do. You're wonderful. You're wonderful.
So what was that last night? What was that?
Message from Starfleet.
Throughout the inanimate vastness of space.
Down like visitors from heaven, hallelujah.
Visitors from heaven. What are you, like an alien or something?
Any more questions you want to ask?
He wants us to get in the car.
Ito!
You want me to catch on fire?
Fire, fire and fire. Hot day. Show me if you're ready. My turn to bring a new shit. Baby, show me if you're ready. My turn to bring a new sound.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. This is the UFO News for today. So let's see what we have. 5 stories. Story number 1, Norfolk, UK, September 2012. Says huge, bright, unidentified flying object of some kind of sphere flying across the sky above Ranworth Broad in Norfolk, England. This was last month. We see the large object there, just to the right of center. Large white object. Okay, we've seen these type before, definitely. Continuing on, the next one takes us to Fort Hood, Texas. This happened on the 30th, and again, we've got the white light. We've seen these before. Now, is that 1 or is it 2? Can't really tell if that's 1 or 2. The video itself is 1.5 minutes long. And as we look at them, it looks like it expands. Here we've got 3 right here. So that's what we're looking at. Alright. So that's over Fort Hood. Then we go over to North Carolina. North Carolina teens discover UFOs appear on Thursday nights. 2 North Carolina teenagers at Nakina report watching a series of red glowing lights that hovered near the treetop level and seemed to appear regularly on Thursday nights about 9 p.m. according to October 1st, 2012 testimony from the Mutual UFO Witness Reporting Database. 2 brothers, aged 14 and 16, were returning home from a junior varsity football game about 9 p.m. on Thursday, September 13th, 2012. When they stopped their vehicle to shine a spotlight on the nearby deer. The younger brother first noticed the unusual light and alerted the older brother. It was a single red-orange glowing circle above the treetops off in the distance, and then it just hovered there for a few seconds, then disappeared. The 16-year-old witness stated, within 5 to 10 seconds after that, the light came back, more to my right, and then lit up, and then another in line, one by one. I was so shocked, I just stared and reached for my phone to take a picture, but the process, the lights went away. This is not the first time the witness had seen the similar lights in the sky. We've noticed these lights. It was about the fourth time. And the times before this, we just thought they were airplanes, but the common things about it were the dates and the times. They were all on Thursdays around 9 p.m. in the same south-southeast direction. So there you go. That's what's going on over North Carolina. And then we head on over to Massachusetts, or head up to Massachusetts. This is object in question. All right. Alright, eyewitness states, caught this object under the sun on the way home from work. Looks like a backward jet with lights all over it. Too fast to be a jet. Amazing UFO. Okay, there we go. That is pretty fast. Whatever that is. Looks like an angel. Angel wings. Yeah, that's what it is. Alright, that's our sighting over Massachusetts. And then finally, well, Obama seems to be everywhere. Now he's involved with the Mayan calendar, it appears. U.S. President Obama and Michelle may have a role in the December 21st, 2012 prediction, according to the Dresden Codex. Well, it says, many have asked me about what will happen according to the Mayan prediction that will take place on December 21st, 2012. I have to say we have little info to help us, but the greatest of all information happens to be the last page of the ancient Mayan Dresden Codex. The book is thousands of years old and is inscribed with unknown hieroglyphics. It was written by Maya Indians who once ruled much of Central America. The number 13 was magically important to the Mayas, and they believed that, starting from the birth of Venus, after 13 of these longest periods or Baktuns, the world would come to an end. But let's look at this page from our current perspective. What do you see? A black god at the bottom with an eagle over his head? The only black leader in the world whose symbol of power is the eagle happens to be the U.S., President Obama. Now this sounds odd. However, you look at the upper right-hand part of the Dresden Codex page, you will notice a silhouette of what looks like a woman. Not just any woman. It looks like Michelle Obama, President Obama's wife. This seems to indicate that the Obamas will have a very important role in the prediction, and Barack Obama will have almost godlike powers. This power could be his official government powers, or he could be an alien. Next to Michelle Obama, in the next box, is a clock like a picture with 12 hour marks on it. Its hands are on the 11, 2, 5, 8. If you take 11 plus 2 equals 13, 1 Baktun of time, and 5 plus 8 again is 13, or the Baktun of time. This indicates the last 2 Baktuns are finished. The long reptile is spewing out water, which is indicated mostly by its color. Had it been fire, there would have been an orange or reddish tint to it, but this could possibly be a devastating flood or a symbol of a cleansing or renew. Possible involvement of a reptilian species. Remember, Earth was once ruled by reptiles and may yet be again. Alright, so let's take a look at just those images in and of themselves. Okay, here's saying is the black man with the eagle over his head. And this is the image that they say is Michelle Obama, a woman. And then down here, there's our clock, the reptilian species. Now, History Channel tuned in on this, said the last page of Dresden Codex actually shows the destruction of the world via water. This graphic illustration depicts the destruction of the earth by flood. Others see it as a day of rebirth. Others see it literally with the very severe consequences. Okay, so that's what we have there. Goes on to say, in any case, page 74 of the Dresden Codex doesn't appear to be a flood, maybe even one described in the Popol Vuh, except there are no people being washed away, no other indications of destruction except the black warrior god, who also resided at the 4 Awa 3 Kumu creation. 3114 BC on the vases of the 7 gods and the 11 gods. So although the transit of Venus does happen in 2012 and is part of the Mayan Dresden Codex, this does not mean that the world ends this year. Perhaps the water is a symbol of cleansing, meaning humans everywhere experience a higher level of awareness all at once, changing our species forever. Technology can do this. We will find out in 79 more days. That's right, 79 more days. Very interesting what is to come of all of this. One thing that does come to mind with all of the water is the book called the Bible, and a promise that was made that God would not destroy the world again by flood. So when these things come up that talk about a flood, well, just think back to what God had said, the promise, no floods. So perhaps this means something else. Anyway, that's our UFO news for today. Let me jump away. I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
All right. Well, we're back. So continuing on with the next story. Right here, NBC Tom Brokaw on Who Runs the World. This is another We Are Change moment. It's Luke Radowski confronting Tom Brokaw. Let's listen in to what is said.
I'm an independent journalist. You've been a huge inspiration with your journalistic career. If I could ask you a question, is that okay?
Yeah.
What do you think about the current state of journalism today?
It's not as bad as a lot of people think it is. You have a lot more choices than you've ever had in the past. You just can't be a couch potato anymore. You've got to work more aggressively as a news consumer, and if you do, you can be very well informed.
And I have another kind of weird question, but it's very generic, but who do you think runs the world?
You know, more and more the financial industry does, and that's an issue that we're all going to have to come to grips with.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
There you go. Short and sweet with Tom Brokaw, but answers that good answers. Okay, moving right along. Here's a shocker right here. Trinity Church reveals. Members reveal Obama shocker. Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Here we go. After nearly 4 years in office, many Americans still express frustrations that much about Barack Obama remains a mystery, as establishment media remains incurious about the Democratic president, while seemingly ready to dispatch crack investigative teams at a moment's notice to probe into the lives of Republican figures such as Sarah Palin. Largely ignored in 2008 was research by Hillary Clinton's campaign based on the contacts developed with members of the church Obama attended for 2 decades, Trinity Unity Church of Christ in Chicago. This is the first of a series of articles WND has developed for months of in-person interviews with church members who have known Barack and Michelle over many years. The sources requested their identities not be published because they believe the disclosures would later put their security at risk. It goes on to say, 10 years ago, the New York Times reported on a growing number of underground subculture in the black community known as Down Low, comprised largely of men who secretly engage in homosexual activity while living straight lives in public. It is within the subtext that opposition researchers for Hillary Clinton's 2008 presidential campaign began investigating rumors that Reverend Jeremiah Wright was running a matchmaking service for members of his Trinity United Church of Christ known as the Down Low Club, which included Barack Obama. Over the past several months, W&D investigators have interviewed a number of members of the church who claim that President benefited from rights efforts to help black men who engage in homosexual activity appear respectable in black society by finding them a wife. All right, well, the article will be available for you to read, but hey, are you shocked? Are you shocked? I mean, when the guy doesn't come out on his own with his own past and people dig in, well, it may not be exactly accurate, but this is what people are pulling up. It'd be a whole lot easier if Obama would just step forward and say, this is my past. But he doesn't. He doesn't admit things. But again, so this goes back to the story of him in the back of the limousine and the BJ. Remember that? Okay. Well, here's another one that ties into there. So between this and then Obama supporting the gay marriage, it seems quite possible that maybe Obama's gay. No problem if he is, but it seems like that's part of his cover-up, and there seems to be insight to there. Now, if is gay and he's hiding himself and he's, still hasn't admitted, then he's kind of conflicted on the inside. He needs to come clean with himself and step out of the closet, so to speak. So, come on, Obama. You'll feel better about yourself, I'm guessing, because, there seems to be plenty of other information out there about you. Why don't you just give it up? Give up that information, sir. All right. Now, some of you may have seen this already. This is a video that was playing. This is a video at Sky Harbor Airport. Check this out.
Sky Harbor Airport last week. Video of that drill was posted on YouTube and is now making some waves. Fox 10's Jill Monier is live at the airport with more on just what happened here.
Linda, passengers say they didn't know what was going on. Some said that they were scared. This drill happening in the middle of the terminal after they had already gone through the security checkpoint. The TSA says these drills have gone on for years, but many are seeing them for the first time thanks to video taken.
An apparent TSA drill frightening some passengers.
Scared. This drill happening in the middle of the terminal after they had already gone through the security checkpoint. The TSA says these drills have gone on for years, but many are seeing them for the first time thanks to video taken by a passenger.
Stay right where you are. Stay right there.
This video was taken at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport September 22nd. It shows TSA employees ordering passengers who had already gone through the security checkpoint to stop in the middle of the terminal. The video was recorded by passenger George Prepared.
But there was a palpable sense of fear because we had no idea why this was happening.
Prepared says he was only able to capture the last 24 seconds of the roughly 2-minute event. The TSA did not respond to our request for comments Sunday, but in published reports, a spokesperson called it a stop-all drill to prepare personnel in case of a security breach at the checkpoint.
If they're going to do something that is a drill, that is a test, then you have to be told that you're part of some sort of a test.
The TSA claimed passengers are told about the drill in advance and thanked for their patience. No alert or thank you was heard in this video.
There was a woman holding her little daughter behind me who had this look on her face like, oh no, what's going on? What's going on? No, that can't do anybody any good. An airport is a very sensitive place. So, it's a tension-filled place. So if they tell you to do something like that, the chances are people are going to be afraid and they're going to stand there, which seems to be the whole point of this exercise, which is what I found so frustrating about it all.
And a few months ago, if you remember, the TSA was criticized after testing drinks that had already passed the security checkpoint. On a blog, they said that was just another line of defense. Reporting live from Sky Harbor, Jill Monier, Fox 10 News.
I got a question for any of you that work for the TSA. Do you think for yourself, or do you just take these orders from somebody else? Because there seems to be a lot of illicit activity that comes from the TSA, a lack of common sense that goes on. And then we hear the stories of all of the theft that takes place, which isn't right, and the other corruption that goes on with the scanners and the nonsense. So I don't get it. But one day we're going to see a video and we are going to see a whole lot of people bum rush these TSA people at these airports. And things are going to change because people are going to get pushed to the point where they're going to have enough. And the wrong TSA person is going to touch the wrong child one day, and he's going to catch the wrong parent, and that's going to be it. And once the first punch is thrown, you watch. Momentum will go across this country, and there will start to be a backlash against the TSA. As well there should be, because our Congress and our judicial system and those who are supposed to protect the public aren't doing their job. So therefore the public needs to step up. And if there's any authority that we need to have to do this, look at the Constitution. Better yet, look at the Declaration. It is our duty to step up when our rights are being trampled on, when tyranny is being presented. It is the right of the people to stand up. This might be one of those cases. This is certainly one of these cases where people are taking the nonsense long enough. The day will come, you'll see, mark my words, the day will come when the backlash against the TSA is going to happen, and it's going to be bad. Because all of this pent-up frustration and anger that's out there towards the TSA is going to be unleashed in one fell swoop. You watch. Watch what happens. You watch. It's going to go across this country. Once it spreads, it's going to spread because people are going to feel stronger about what they're doing, and they're going to feel. You'll see. It's just building up. It's building up to a head. And all I'm doing is I'm just reading the signs. And if you're not able to read the signs, then I suggest that you maybe investigate a little bit more, because you'll start to see things that will start to point you in a direction of you need to go. Okay. Let's turn our attention back towards the cosmos here. Amazing meteor boomerangs around the Earth. For the first time ever, a meteor has grazed in and out of Earth's atmosphere, slowing enough to become a temporary satellite that lasted in a full orbit. By evening on September 21st, an earlier storm had moved eastward and left skies over British Isles beautifully clear. Mark Joff, an officer at the Greater Massachusetts Police, was making his rounds when he spotted a dazzling meteor at 22:55 p.m. Immediately, I pulled over the van to see if I could see the fireball. Although not an experienced astronomical observer, I was able to log relevant information such as altitude and azimuth relative to the straight road. I was able to see the trees and the streetlights nearby. I estimated that it was about as bright as the full moon and remained visible for 35 to 40 seconds, fragmenting for the last half of that. I was just flabbergasted to have seen it. He was hardly alone in his amazement Friday night, as there was many that saw it. So here's the graph of where it entered, the path it took. Okay, so solar system stuff comes in and things happen, but pretty cool, pretty cool. And one more astronomically to look at here, and this comes to us from the front page of Yahoo. Bright Venus and bright stars shine together at dawn on Wednesday. So if you were up early today, might have gotten a good glimpse of this. Early bird sky watchers Wednesday were treated to a rather extraordinary sight when the most brilliant planet passes exceptionally close to one of the other brightest stars in the sky. The planet is Venus and the star is Regulus in the constellation of Leo the Lion. The celestial pair promises to dazzle observers before dawn on Wednesday, weather permitting. Venus is by far and away the brightest morning star and is currently the focal point of the eastern dawn sky. It will, in fact, remain this way all the way through the balance of the autumn season. Venus rises a bit more than 3 hours before sunrise. That's even before the first light of dawn. In the days and weeks to come, early risers can take note of the fact that Venus will slowly be appearing lower and a bit less brilliant in the night sky. Even now, the planet appears to be so slightly lower and less dazzling than it did September, but this astonishing bright planet is still positioned almost as well as it can before a pre-dawn apparition. At present, Venus glows just to the west or right of the famous backwards question mark pattern of stars known as the sickle of Leo, and is poised above and to the right of the Leo's Lucidia, the brightest star, the bluish first magnitude star, Regulus. But because Venus is moving at just over a degree per day to the east, the space between them will rapidly close in the coming mornings. Your covered fist, arm's length, covers about 10 degrees of the sky. On Wednesday morning, as viewed from the U.S. East Coast, Venus will slide in as little as 7.5 minutes of arc to the south of Regulus. To give you some idea how small this is, it is 1/4 of the apparent width of the full moon. So there you go. So we got Venus and Regulus out there shining bright this morning. And keep looking in the skies, because you're going to see, as it said, Venus will be rising a little bit lower. So there you go for sky watchers. All right. So that brings us to Warrior of the Light. We're moving right along. I hope you are enjoying the passages and learning something from them. I certainly know that I am. I do each and every time I go through this book. I always gain more insight about what's up with all of this. All right. There we go. The Warrior of the Light views life with tenderness and determination. He stands before a mystery whose solution he will one day find. Every so often he says to himself, "This life is absolutely insane." He is right. In surrendering to the miracle of the everyday, he notices that he cannot always foresee the consequences of his actions. Sometimes he acts without even knowing that he is doing so. He saves someone without even knowing he is saving them. He suffers without even knowing why he is sad. Yes, life is insane, but the great wisdom of the warrior lies in choosing his insanity wisely. The Warrior of the Light studies the 2 columns on either side of the door he is trying to open. One is called Fear, the other Desire. The warrior looks at the column of Fear, and on it is written, "You are entering a dangerous, unfamiliar world, where everything you have learned up to this point will prove useless." The warrior looks at the column of Desire, and on it is written, "You are about to leave a familiar world, where are stored all the things you ever wanted, and for which you struggled long and hard." The warrior smiles, because nothing frightens him, and nothing holds him. With the confidence of the one who knows what he wants, he opens the door. A warrior of the light practices a powerful exercise for inner growth. He pays attention to the things he does automatically, such as breathing, blinking, or noticing the things around him. He does this when he feels confused, and in this way he frees himself from tensions and allows his intuition to work more freely, without interference from fears and desires. Certain problems that appear to be insolvable are resolved. Certain sorrows from which he thought he would never recover vanish naturally. He uses his technique whenever he is faced with a difficult situation. The Warrior of the Light hears comments like, "There are certain things I'd rather not talk about because people are so envious." When he hears this, the warrior laughs. Envy cannot harm you if you don't let it in. Envy is part of life, and everyone should learn to deal with it. However, he rarely discusses his plans, and sometimes people believe this is because he is afraid of envy. But he knows that whenever he talks about a dream, he uses a little bit of the energy from the dream in order to do so. And by talking, he runs the risk of spending all of his energy he needs to put his dream into action. A warrior of the light knows the power of words. The warrior of the light knows the value of persistence and courage. Often during combat, he receives blows that he was not expecting, and he realizes that during war his enemy is bound to win some of the battles. When this happens, he weeps bitter tears and rests in order to recover his energy a little. But he remembers, he immediately resumes his battle, and for his dreams, the longer he remains away, the more likely he is to feel weak, fearful, and intimidated. When a horseman falls off his horse, if he does not remount immediately, he will never have the courage to do so again. A warrior knows when the battle is worth fighting. He bases his decision on inspiration and faith. He nevertheless meets people who ask him to fight battles that are not his own, on battlefields that he does not know, or which do not interest him. They want to involve the warrior of light in contests that are important to them, but not to him. Often these people, close to the warrior of the light, people who love him and trust in his strength and who want him to ease their anxieties in some way. At such a moment he smiles and makes it clear to them that he loves them, but he does not take up the challenge. A true warrior of the light, always chooses his own battlefield. Let's take a deep breath. Exhale. Now imagine within you all of these qualities of the warrior of the light. The qualities of strength, of courage, of faith. Qualities of fear. And limitation and doubt. And when understood, all of these qualities are the warrior of the light. Whether these qualities be perceived of as good or bad are all qualities to be used and to be learned from. For even fear can be a great teacher when kept in the proper perspective, but when allowed to run out of control, tears us from our common sense. So imagine all of these qualities all merging themselves together, working harmoniously with each other. Imagine all of your chakras are activated from the bottom of your spine up. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and indigo. Honor the connection to all that is, was, and ever shall be. Allow that energy within you to overflow out into the world, sending protection around the planet. Extend your auric field of protection all around to each individual on the planet. Feel the protection being sent your way from other directions, while at the same time know that you are sending protection to others who don't even know who you are, knowing that we are all in this together. Let's just think a positive thought for everyone in the world. Wish everyone a great day, and with that, bring our energy and attention back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment, filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment, filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment, happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. There you have it. Another show, prayer, meditation, the whole kit and caboodle. Thanks for being here. It's always a pleasure to be able to do the shows, share information with you. I appreciate your emails, your comments. They're all very well appreciated and very well received. So thank you very much. I'll be back tomorrow with more news information. Till then, be safe. Have an awesome day, and I will talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.